Artcadets, it's Friday, so time for another video. Today we are going to be drawing Po from Kung Fu Panda in pastels. Let's go. So I'm using my toned grey Strathmore paper again because I like the effect that it gives when using pastels and the contrast between the white and black that Po has as his main colours. I've gone in and added my main shapes using a mechanical pencil, and they're fairly simple shapes. Have a go at it. Mainly sort of oval for his head and his hands, and the other thing I did do is I have to make sure that his tummy wasn't too big, because the tendency is to draw his tummy huge because that's a prominent feature, but it's not always as big as you think, so have a go. I've also done a circle for his muzzle, which is his nose, and sort of round oval shapes for his knees as well. Then I've gone in with the details, just done a little bit more with my mechanical pencil before I go in and add any colour. I'm using Derwent pencils and Faber-Castell pencils at the moment because I really like both of these. They're really easy to get a hold of, they're not too expensive, and you can buy them individually if you don't want to spend out a lot on a whole set. So yeah, one of the benefits I guess of colour pastels is that they're available and come in a lot of different colours, and you can try them out without passing with too much money. Here I'm just using my smudging tool or my paper stamp to blend the colours in on his tummy and his face, and then I'm adding the black areas with a black pencil, leaving a little bit around his top of his arm to show that the crease where he's got his arm bent can still be seen. I was going to also talk about the pros and cons of colour pastels because this is the last video I'm doing for a little bit, and we're going to be moving on to colour pencils next week. As I've said, I do really like them, and I've done quite a lot of pet portraits and children or adult portraits using them because they are quite flexible, I think. You know, you can layer them, you can add all the different colours, you can smudge them together. Yeah, I really like them. You can get lots of different effects, like with fur and hair and all sorts of things like that. I suppose the disadvantages would be that they can be a bit messy, but I think once you get used to them and you know how they work, then you can overcome that. There are other things you can do, so where your hand is working on the page, you can put a piece of paper or tracing paper underneath your hand so you're not smudging the drawing. So that can prevent any problems like that. The good thing though about pastels is you can erase them, so I think at the end of this video I do actually go round to try and remove some of the smudging that I did, and yeah, that's fine, it's not really a problem. But as I say, maybe use a sheet of paper underneath your hand to minimise any of that and stop it happening in the first place. What else was I going to say? Yeah, the other disadvantages, I suppose, if you're used to wiping away any of the dust, or when you're drawing, perhaps with a pencil and an eraser, then you normally sort of wipe your hand over the drawing. Probably best if you don't do that with pastels, because again, it can smudge the drawing. And as much as a lot of smudging can be used for good with pastels, for mixing colours and things, it's not always what you want. So maybe just blow the dust off, or you can use a soft brush as well. So back to the drawing then, I'm just putting some more colour here and doing a little bit of shading around the nose of Po, and I've put some shadow underneath his belt just to make it look a bit more 3D and a bit more realistic. I don't know if you can see what colour pencil I've used there, but I've actually got a sneaky tip because I always use blue pencil to use as shading on white areas and black areas actually. So it might sound a bit odd, but using blue pencil is a really effective way of getting a shadow onto blue and black. So now I'm just putting in a few final details and touching up before we call it done. I guess that the other thing I was going to say, or the disadvantage about pastels, is that sometimes it's quite hard to get a fine point. I mean, they are, because they're soft, I guess, they're a little bit more difficult to sharpen, and you do have to be more gentle with them. Maybe to avoid that, you can use the opposite hand you would normally sharpen with, and that usually means you're a bit more gentle, you're not strong on your non-dominant hand. But yeah, so they are quite soft, but some pencils are worse for this than others. You can also use a craft knife to sharpen them, but you have to be very careful with those. You don't want any fingers chopped off. And yeah, I think you can get a nice sharp point with them. Oh look, there's the blue. I mentioned it too early. Never mind. So yeah, I'm just going in and doing some more darker areas just to give it a bit more shading. And we're nearly there. I've used my micron, I've forgotten what it's called, black fine liner to just draw his pupils, and I've gone in at the end with the white pencil quite sharp, just to add in some highlights. I'm also there using my Uniball Signo broad just to do the highlights in his eyes, and like I said, I'm just rubbing off some of the smudgings that I made before it's finished, and I'm using a Mono Zero rubber for that. So I hope you've enjoyed these pastel videos. I really have, and maybe we'll do some more again soon, and hopefully you had a go at it at home. Well, that's all for today, Artcadets. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe below. I've also got a subscribe button which should be about here. If you'd like to press that as well, you can also subscribe that way. Really appreciate any of your subscriptions, and then you won't miss a video either, so that will be really good. Next week we will be doing a colour pencil, just done colour pencil drawing, and so make sure you've got your colour pencils and your paper ready, and I'll see you then. Bye.